Let's begin this hour with the abrupt change to President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General. He tapped former Florida AG Pam Bondi after Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration. I want to bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe, who's joining me now to talk about this. Ed, this is kind of an interesting choice. Walk us through, remind us who Pam Bondi is, and if there will be any pushback by members of the United States Senate.
Vlad, good to be with you. This is a more conventional Trump-style pick in that she has professional experience in the line of work she's being asked to focus on, but also a devoted, if you will, Trump loyalist, someone who's been with him since his first presidential campaign, even before it began, and someone who can trace much of her early political success to Sarah Palin, someone who endorsed her when she first ran for Florida Attorney General. She served 2 terms in that role, perhaps best remembered to most of the country for things like being part of the conservative and Republican attorneys general push to sue against the size and scope of the Affordable Care Act and various parts of it. There were at least 2 big attempts by her and other Republican attorneys general to do that in the later years of the Obama administration. It was one of the first times that she earned real national acclaim from conservatives for her work. Someone who also will face questions from not only Republican senators maybe, but certainly from Democratic critics about a lot of work she's done since she was Attorney General. She was, among other things, President Trump's one of his defense attorneys during his first impeachment trial, and has made a lot of money and spent a lot of time in more recent years as a lobbyist, working for clients like the country of Qatar. She, for the last year, has helped run a policy shop that is aligned closely with the President-elect's Make America Great Again movement. So again, has sort of been in the sphere of MAGA world, if you will, but is someone that already is earning pretty widespread acclaim from Republican senators, who, of course, are key to getting her confirmed.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Senator Lindsey Graham, Ed, who I know you know is a very powerful voice on that Senate Judiciary Committee, who says that she should be nominated, she should be put to that position without any problems. But let's talk now about Pete Hegseth, who met with some senators yesterday amid those sexual assault allegations. How did those meetings go, and where do things stand for him?
They were with mostly supportive Republicans, the ones that are going to vote yes because Donald Trump wants him in the job. But there are questions that remain about that police report that was issued regarding a 2017 incident in Monterey, California. He told reporters that that incident was investigated, no charges were filed, and as far as he's concerned, the matter is closed. That's also what the Trump transition team says. Whether or not they fully understood the scope of the allegations against him and whether there's anything else similar out there remains to be seen. But this is a potential roadblock for his nomination, should it ever come, or he may determine in the coming days that he, too, lacks sufficient support. The mix of who might be concerned is a little different than those that might have been concerned about Gaetz, and it will focus specifically on female Republican senators who see those sexual assault allegations, his past public comments about women serving in uniform, especially in combat, and may have concerns about that. So we'll wait and see. But at this point now, he's the selection probably facing the most scrutiny.
Yeah, he keeps saying to reporters that he was never charged, but in fact, that he was cleared, but in fact, he was just never charged. Ed O'Keefe for us reporting from West Palm Beach. Thank you very much, Ed. Appreciate it.